the first group I'm going to talk about that deserves to be talked about, I'm going to talk about the RBs, the running backs. Okay. So the RBs this game, we said we needed to get Pacheco to get like 20 plus carries, at least 15. I know in the betting thing, hold on, let me see what we had on the betting thing. We had Pacheco 70 plus rushing yards, right?
75 plus receiving and rushing together.
Receiving and rushing yards,
he didn't
right?
He didn't get the receiving.
I know it. But look, here's the thing though. What's encouraging is we handed the ball off to him. We just handed the ball off to him. And that's exactly what we needed to do, because we understood that to beat a good Dolphins team, number one is you got to keep them off the field, right? Part of that is the possession. You try to make sure that offense doesn't have many opportunities to get the football in their hands, okay? Because they're dangerous with it. We understand that. So part of what you have to do is you got to run the football. When we ran the football, looking at the film, I thought we did a tremendous job of that. Guys are getting in. I'm talking about pushing dudes over the path. A lot of the double teams getting up to the second level. It all looked beautiful. Now, what I will say is, like Andy said, he owes the offensive line one. And what he meant by that was 3rd and 1, 3rd and short. He knows he needs to be handing the ball off and let these guys roll grade that defensive line and them linebackers. He knows that. And so that's what he meant when he said O-line. Because, O-line, they are thirsty for that. They are absolutely thirsty to hit somebody in the mouth, especially 3rd and 1, and deplete people, because then you can be as physical as you want, as much as possible. All right? So we missed that opportunity on 3rd and 1. And here's one of the things, criticizing. Look, certain plays that look okay, other one 3rd and 1, we should be handing the ball off. All right? If we're sitting there lining up, and I've seen in the series second half that we were 1st and 10, and we had like all 11 guys in a box, like running. It was a 1st and 10. I'm just like, well, we don't even do it on 3rd down. So why would we do it on 1st and 10? Didn't make any sense to me. But hey, whatever, right? But we'll stay with it. Running backs did a tremendous job. McKinnon, the same thing. McKinnon catching a touchdown. He did a great job. He's another one we were just talking about. He's such a weapon for us that we feel like he needs to get a little bit more looks, right? That's just how we feel. And you don't have to do it, but we know, and we've seen McKinnon always coming up big for us in the playoffs and the games toward the second half of the season. Hopefully we'll start seeing a little bit more of that right now coming up after the bye, right? Getting him more involved. But, my grade, man, for the running backs, I gave him a B+. That's what I gave him. B+ for them, right? Now, I will say this, and I talked about this on the show, was Patrick got flushed out by the one time that Pacheco, he got beat up the middle, right? Put his head down, he goes, he with the dude, completely misses him. Ends up pushing Patrick out the box, out of the pocket, throws it in there. Next time, and somebody had shown that, I think it was Seth or something, I'm not sure who had the video, but him coming in, hitting the linebacker the very next time. He did it perfectly. I'm talking about textbook. He goes and takes the air out of the block, right? Meaning you run up, you take the distance away from him. Then you go strike him, hit him in the mouth, then you move your feet. He did it masterfully the next time, okay? Moves his feet, and he stayed with him, and it's disengaged. And that looks like that's almost like that's a snap that you take in training camp. That's what that is, okay? Because you got to get the job done. He looked, terrible the first time, and he knew it, right? So what they do, he gets on himself, he corrects it. So B+, man, for the running backs and Pacheco making that adjustment, man. B+. Right?
I agree.
Yeah. So the next one, I'm gonna go to this group because this is always my guys. If they're not first, they're second. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about my boys. That's the tight ends. All right. So the tight ends, they, week in and week out, Travis Kelce has been he's been nonstop. He's been unstoppable. He really has. This week, this is what's going to be intent for the rest of the season. Defense is going to be looking at to try to double, triple team Travis Kelce. They're going to try to take him away from Patrick Mahomes as being our main weapon on offense, right? I mean, this is what we're looking for. This is the intent. We understand that. Well, guess what? Travis was pissed off. He did a lot of blocking yesterday. And guess what? He did a hell of a job doing some blocking. He led up in there, which was I was almost shocked because he was in the backfield as the lead blocker sometime. And he was opening holes up. And so I love when tight ends decide to put their chin straps up and go hit guys in the mouth. Okay. I know they always talk about, Travis Kelce's a pass catching tight end. Well, that sucker will go in and he'll hit you. Okay. He don't mind blocking. He ain't like some of these other pass catching tight ends out here who ain't gonna block, who ain't gonna put their hands on anybody. Travis said he does not at all. Does he bow away or tries to get away from blocking guys? So he did a great job. Noah Gray catches a couple passes in the passing game. Same thing. I love to see him getting more snaps, more looks. Here's the thing. When I'm looking at the film, I see us running a lot of different plays out of 12 personnel, 13 personnel, 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets. Okay. I really believe that personnel is one of our most better personnel that we have going for us in a game. All right. And the simple fact is, when you have guys, tight ends that can catch a football, who can block, you can do whatever you want to out of that personnel. You really can. And so we know we got capable catching tight ends, and we got capable blockers. So best tight end in the game, and we got Noah Gray who's coming up, and Blake Bell who's doing a great job. So those guys, I gave those guys a B+ also. Okay, a tight end group. I was gonna give them an A, but everybody's gonna say I'm biased, so I'm just gonna give these guys a B+. We know what it is, TEs. All right, you understand, man? That's just that's what we do. Okay, jack of all trades, master of many. All right, you show up when you need to show up. It doesn't matter what capacity you need to do it. We're gonna keep showing out. So B+ for the tight ends.
Yeah, Noah Gray looked phenomenal yesterday. Like on that first drive. I mean, yeah, I know I look at the ball and catching and stuff from the tight end, but like he stepped up. I mean, when Travis Kelce staying in a block, somebody else is going out to run routes, and Noah Gray looked pretty phenomenal yesterday. I know, like we said, it's so much spread around the receiving and tight end group that like no one's really going to eat as far as like catches and yardage. But he was our leading receiver yesterday, 3 for 34. I mean, yeah, I thought Noah Gray stepped up really. It's really good to see him grow, honestly.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And so we same thing. He's taking on his role. Travis spoke about it. Like, man, this guy shows up every single day, every single practice, and in games. He's just showing up. He's the guy that you can always hang your hat on, you can rely on, doing a great job. He's a hard worker. I see him out there when in games, and you just got to appreciate a guy like that. A guy like Noah Gray who doesn't look for, to have the pats on the back. He's just going out there, man. He's just doing his job. That's what I love about him, man. Puts his heart out and lunch pail every single day when he's coming out there. And a guy like that needs to be celebrated even more. So hats off to Noah Gray for his performance.
Yeah.
Right? So now I'll go to the next group, wide receiver. All right. So wide receiver group. We can get into them, right? That's always the group. The young guys. And what have they done, and what did they not do? Well, I tell you what, this group, it's always good to see MVS show up for games. He caught one early. And I think, trying to get him involved is a good way to go, right? I mean, he's your big money guy on that side. Pass some money, he's your vet that you have on that side of the ball, right? Or in that group. And so it's incumbent upon him to try to lead the group, lead the pack, all right? And so it's always good to get him involved, and they try to do that early, right? And I like seeing MVS in there. I do. I like seeing him in there. There's no doubt that we probably need to start taking some shots with MVS down the field, right? I know we throw deep balls to Justin Watson, and that's fine. But MVS, Cole Hardman are guys that can take the top off the defense. Kadarius Toney is another guy we talked about, can take the top off the defense. He comes in, catches a ball, a slant, gets all excited, and then it's like, peace out. I'll see you later. I'll see you next game. It's like, huh? What Where you going at, my guy? Where you going? Right? Come on back. So we can use you. But I tell you, a guy that's probably been feeling a lot of the heat, and his name is Sky Moore. Sky Moore came out. He caught us a couple passes, which was good to see. And it shows he's got ability. This guy's got ability. He's one of those guys that you just got to be patient with. He's a guy that you got to keep talking to, like, hey man, look, relax, take it easy, go out there and just play your game. Okay, don't worry about anything else out here. You take care of what you can take care of, and everything else will work itself out. So Sky Moore, he did that yesterday, right? A couple of catches, beautiful. Okay, move the chains, right? That's what we're looking for him to do. Move the chains. We talked about, is he more of a slot player? We think so, absolutely, as opposed to the outside. But, here's the offense, what we have. Guys are interchangeable. You can move guys around. Sky Moore becomes the side because of, I think, he's got some IQ. He's got football IQ about zones and whatnot. He does a pretty good job. Just need to get the ball to him. So with that, man, I gave my wide receivers a C+. Gave him a C+, man. Rashid Rice. Can't forget about him. Can't forget about Ford. Each and every week, he's always scoring. I try to pick him up in fantasy, and I didn't pick him up fast enough.
Nah.
I know it. But he's turning heads everywhere. Defenses are realizing exactly what we have in this guy, too. Okay? They realize as he's starting to make his way, it's being talked about in this NFL. So the thing is, I love to see Rashid Rice getting some more footballs in his hands, okay? Whether it's a screen, whether it's a slant, he can be the outside guy to go up and get the ball. He can catch a back shoulder 9 route. He can. He can get a fade ball in the back of the end zone, right? He's a scoring machine. We always find him in the end zone. So I love seeing Rashid Rice. Yep. And he was blocking his tail off yesterday, too. I think somebody said something about his blocking.
Yep.
That he might have took it personal. So great job by Rashid Rice too. So that's what I gave him. I gave the wide receivers a C+, right?
Just to quickly comment on your the Sky Moore stuff. Yeah, that was his lowest snap count so far this season. He had 15 snaps, offensive snaps. McCall Harmon had 13. Kadarius Toney was the one that stood out to me, 7. But another thing that stood out, that was Rice. Rice led the receiver room as far as snaps, offensive snaps. So there you go, at 41. Yeah. MVS had 33. He had the third highest behind Justin Watson with 38. So we're starting to see a little bit of movement as far as who's getting what snaps, though. And we said that was coming. If you're not producing, they're gonna continue to try it up a little bit. And
rightly so. I mean, this is how it works in the NFL, right? It's all about production. It's about performance. And so if you're not performing and they seeing something on film, they'll change it up. They will. With those guys that's getting a lot of snaps, though, we need to give them more opportunities. I know Justin Watson's getting them, right? She's getting them. MVS need to start getting some. And so the C+, I'm going to tell you where the C+ comes in at. And here's my criticism of the wide receiver room, okay? Some of the routes still need to be more crisp, okay? Still need to be more crisp at the top. The reason Devontae Adams is such a great route runner is because he sets guys up and he runs crisp, pristine routes. If you got a post route, I was talking to somebody maybe yesterday, or I talked to my nephew today. You run a post route, you got to give him something. You got to give the corner something. You just can't try to beat him with speed. Tyreek can do things like that. But even Tyreek sets guys up. If you run in the post route, you got to give him a little something. Step on him. Give him a little shoulder shake. Whatever you have to do to create separation. When you run the deep balls, you definitely got to create separation somehow, some way about doing it. Another thing is you got to go up. You got to try to go high point the football on some of these routes. So we got to get much better at the deep ball. We got to get much better at that. That's my critique is our wide receiver core has to get better at the deep ball. Okay, and it's just what it is. We won't go deep in the playoffs, which we will. these things right here will just make us that so much better. It really will. So,
yeah.
So talking about that, I'm gonna go to our guy PM15, the QB. Okay, all right. PM15 came out and he got the ball out quickly. He made decisive plays and decisions, choices in the passing game. When it was time for him to take off running, ain't nobody better in the business as far as like what you expect out of a quarterback of his caliber, right? Most underrated running quarterback there is in the NFL, bar none. I mean, we expect Josh Allen and Lamar to take off running, but Patrick Mahomes, he's the guy that's actually killing defenses with his legs. Okay, he's so underrated at that. That ability that he's always catching defenses just sleeping on him. Because now what he's doing is he sees, okay, they're dropping 7. I understand that. Now they got to take off, right? Because I don't have enough guys I need to throw to. So what do? While they got their backs turned, let me take off, get 5 or 10 yards, right? Hey, man, look, I learned a long time ago, you will never go broke taking a profit. You'll never go broke taking a profit. And so PM15 understands what to do with that. So actually, I gave PM15, I gave him a B-. I gave him a B-. Okay. Some of the things that obviously the fumble needs to do a much better job protecting the football. Okay, especially in that crowd, right? And I get he's trying to make a play. He's trying to get the ball out there. He's trying to get it over to I think it was the running back out in the flat. I think he was thinking to try to throw it to him. But at that junction and that point, when you being corralled, you got to just protect the football. We'll live and fight another day. We just live and fight another day. That's what we do. We don't want to give teams or defenses and whoever, the team any position on the field. We don't want to do that. So that was one of the things that I kind of shook my head at. And then like second half, like getting into that rhythm, getting the ball out your hand, but still it's the same thing, dropping 7. But he was still trying to will himself to make plays. And that's what I love about PM15. He was still making positive plays. And then all of a sudden, holding, right? On the O-line, holding on this guy, and so we had to deal with that. We had to deal with the penalties. But I think PM15, like Andy told him on the sideline, just calm down. You don't have to always be on your shoulders. Calm down, okay? It ain't always going to look the way you want it to look, right? Take what the defense gives you. Just keep playing that way. But just remain calm, okay? And the thing, he's such a competitor, man. He just wants to do well all the time. He don't want to make a mistake. He don't want to do any of those things. But at that end, he knows he needs to protect the football, okay? Yep. He knows he needs to protect the football. That's why I gave him a B-. All right. Thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he played a solid game, and that's the thing. It's like we as fans are frustrated with how the offense looks. They were like you've made the point before. If we think we're frustrated with it, can you imagine how frustrated he is? And that's why he fumbled the ball. He's trying to make something happen. He's just trying. He's trying to will the team down the field. And sometimes just be a safer play. Maybe just take the sack. Don't try to do what he does. But that's what makes him special. He does that. He tries to do that magic to get us down the field, and it oftentimes works. That's the thing. Like someone tried to compare the Mahomes fumble was one of the shows today. They try to compare the Mahomes fumble to Tua's dropping the snap, where it's like 2 totally different things. One, it wasn't a bad snap. Tua, that's the first thing a quarterback should do is get the freaking ball on the snap, catch that. Mahomes was trying to do something with it, trying to make some magic happen. And he fumbled the ball. I mean, that's what it happens. But yeah, I mean, that's where you see there's 2 totally different quarterbacks there. One's trying to make something happen, and the other one's just dropping the snap right out the gate. I mean, there's levels to this.
It is. But I get the point of just protecting the football as much as possible, right? Like secure it, like you said, secure the snap first, right?
Yeah.
He secures the snap. Now make sure you keep it in your hand. Guys are gonna come SWAT. Guys are gonna be trying to do some different things. So you got to make sure that you're always protecting the football. Okay.
Yeah.
That's livelihood. That's a livelihood for the team, man. That's pure and simple.
I mean, and I'm sure it came from frustration because the second half we weren't really doing anything with the ball, and I'm sure his frustration is trying to do something with it. It's like in basketball when you have a scoring drought, and the point guard's like, man, I'm gonna get points in this. I'm taking this crap to the lane, and like on his way to the lane, someone that reaches in and it gets a strip that steals the ball from you as you're going to the lane and stuff. So I mean, it happens. You try to put the team on his back. I respect the attempt, but yeah, be more cautious with the ball.
Right. So I'm looking at some of the comments over here. My man Keys, that Nagy is taking a lot of heat for things that have nothing to do with him. We got to have our scapegoat safety blankets. I agree. He's taking a lot of heat, but some of that I think is on him. It is on Nagy. Okay, and we don't want to let him off the hook fully. I think Matt does a pretty decent game in calling it, but then also we see a couple of lulls in offensively, like what they're running. At least for me, being on offense and I'm watching the plays, and there are some things where it just seems like we didn't have it figured out going into it, and it was like just kind of caught, like deer in headlights in a couple of drives, right? So does he have some meat in this? Absolutely, he does. And so he has to take a little bit of blame. Nagy's going to get better, and it's all about rhythm. I've said this to Marcus, okay? And what we'll do is on this show, I'm going to have one of my former offensive coordinators on the team, Al Saunders. I'll talk to Al. Al said he would love to come and join us to talk some offense and philosophies with us. That's going to be coming up soon. And so that's a hard position, okay? Being an offensive coordinator. It really is. Because it's chess. And so you got to make sure you stay 2 steps ahead of everybody, okay? But there are times that you want to find that rhythm and that tempo. And if you're not getting that, then you start looking around. Well, is it the pieces, or is it the chess master? Who is it? Who's the one orchestrating all these different things? It's the conductor. So these things, because you got to find out what your group can do, what guys can do. This is all new. Nagy's coming back, right? We're trying to got new pieces around him. We just got to find that out. And so after this bye, they're going to evaluate everything and everybody. So Matt will tell you, I need to get better on certain things. I need to get better in calling certain plays. So it doesn't seem like we're just kind of trying to find whatever. Okay, we don't look like just whatever. Okay.
I think I was watching First Take today. Sterling Sharp was on. Sterling Sharp obviously played with Green Bay when Andy was there and Mike Holmgren was the coach. And they asked, are the Chiefs? I think Molly asked, are the Chiefs missing Eric Bieniemy? He was like, no offense to Bieniemy or Matt Nagy. He goes, this is Andy's ship, and obviously all the coordinators play a part in it. I'm not saying they don't, but he comes from the Mike Holmgren school, and Mike Holmgren was the one who had the final handprints on what is being called out there. And it's not, you can't blame it on EB. It's not as simple as like blaming it on EB, blaming it on Nagy. It's not as simple as I know people just want to, they want to, right away say, oh, it's got to point to the new guy, Nagy, or, EB, but like, it's figuring it out. I mean, it's different personnel than what we had last year. We're still figuring that out.
Absolutely. And so different pieces because of the strengths that they have, right? It takes, an offensive coordinator to say, okay, this is what I have to work with. All right. I'm going to make me some of the most delectable soup or dish I could possibly make out of this. Okay. And he's still figuring it out. So he's a chef, right? There's a little oregano over here. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of spice over there. Okay. That didn't quite work. It was good, but it wasn't quite that good. Let me go taste it a little bit more over here. Let me try a little bit more on this side over here. That's what offense coordinators are doing right now. Nobody has it figured out. And so when you see them on the sideline with this look on their face, like, that's when it doesn't taste so, it's not good to the palate. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, man. So yeah, definitely. EB got a lot of blame over the past couple of years. This offense always games with dead offenses and stretches and drives and stretches the whole games. That's going to happen, right? We know that's going to definitely happen, right? And we said sometimes it don't always work how you draw it up, but also too, when things look perfect and it looks like the rhythm, you can see when everything's clicking. Yeah, the motion and guys are all in the right places. And so, Omar, 3rd and 1 is Eddie Reed's kryptonite. That's funny. That's funny. And he's going. He did a self check on that too. He did a self check. Yeah, I think the offense misses EB's mentality. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Look, and I'm gonna say this, and this is not to be negative and disparaging on Nagy or anybody like that, but EB had a whole different mindset on how he treated the players. Okay, and I'm talking about it was a no nonsense, get in your tail when something wasn't working, and they hated him for it. But you know what? They hated him. It was a love hate, but they hated him, but they loved him for it because they knew it was like, oh, he's right. But he was able to get the best out of these guys, okay? Sometimes you need that dude. Sometimes you need to hear some things you don't want to hear. Sometimes you need to hear the truth. Even though you think you're right, you still need to hear that. Because that's that fire that will keep you upright, that holds you accountable when you don't want to be held accountable, okay? And EB did that. So my thing is, I love EB about it. I know that's how EB is. I know the dude. He ain't gonna mince words with you. He's not gonna do it. And so we heard that was going on in Washington with, when he had the soft wide receivers come in. Oh, he's being too mean and saying mean words to us. Okay. Ron put it out there like, I'm gonna let you know that y'all suckers are crying, and EB gonna get y'all straight.
Yeah.
So that's happened. These guys are starting to play a little bit better. So, hey, man. But yeah, definitely, right? So let's carry on over to the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, you didn't do O-line, JD.
Oh, I forgot O-line? I thought I talked enough about him around him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I know you because you kind of tied it together with the RBs a little bit.
I did. So I gave my O-line. I gave these guys, man, a C-. Gave him a C-. Okay. As great as we were in the running game, I think we did a very good job hitting guys. There were times in some of the game, and see, because we all tie together, it's a whole core group of guys. You got to take all of it in, right? Sometimes that we were allowed defensive ends to wrong arm us, linebackers kind of get up on us. There was pressure where we didn't need it. Times that we should have been keeping guys out when they was rushing 3, and we let them get back home. So sometimes the offensive line, I've said this is why it's so difficult. Yeah, Patrick holds the ball longer than other people. It's just what it is, okay? We talked about this, but guys got to know you just got to outlast those guys, okay? And big guys hate moving their feet. They hate having to stay on guys. In our mind, O-line, ball needs to be out 4 seconds, 5 seconds, no more than that, okay? 4 or 5 at the most, okay? But I was seeing guys that are top guys were, falling off blocks. And so I keep a standard with these guys because I know how good they are. And I'm talking about across the board. I love our O-line. I love these dudes. And so when I grade them, I'm going to grade them hard, because I expect a lot out of them. And so I gave them a C- because there was things they could have done better, could have lasted a little bit longer. There were some penalties that took us back. And when we go 3rd and long or 2nd and long, that's not a good place to be. It's not. And so you got to get much better at that. But as far as what they gave us in the run game, masterful job. And they did a good job protecting Pat. I'm not going to take – there were spurts that they did a great job protecting Pat, okay? The thing is, when it comes down to it, you just need more of it. Keep outlasting those guys. Keep outlasting the guys. And so this is, I'm a little, I gave a C-. I'm kind of here and there with it. They maybe a C, more than a C-. Gave him a C. So I'll do that. I can move it up to a C. All right. But, those guys in short yardage, man, they just want to come and hit guys in the mouth. We need to give it to them. Yeah. We need to give them they wish. Okay. Andy Reid looks like Santa Claus. Give these guys a present for Christmas. When it's 3rd and 1, let them run the football. That's all they're asking for. That's it. That's all they're asking for. Okay? 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, run the football. 3rd and 3, run the football. Okay? They love doing that more so than moving their feet, blocking, and sitting back in pass protection. Okay, because they're really good at it. All right, they really are. So that's why I gave the O-line, man. C- moved up to a C. Okay, moved up to a C. But they know they can do better. They know they can do better.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.